hope I find you all well this Tuesday evening, April the 2nd. Thank you for spending a little time with me tonight. In reality, we're going to get you out of here a little bit shorter, as we are expecting another round of showers and storms, and this one at the 6 o'clock hour. As we start the 6 o'clock hour, it's already starting to be fueled by a lot of elements in the atmosphere and could potentially build up into the worst of the storms that we have seen today. And parts of Kentucky have already seen some bad ones. So we're going to go through real quickly what I can tell you locally. We'll talk about some other news and information. And then I want everyone to make sure that they continue to watch and be prepared for the rest of this evening, because it is now and for the next couple of hours from now that we are all going to need to keep a close eye on the weather. So let's talk about the weather locally first and foremost, where locally there's not that much to talk about, and that is a good thing. 0 reports that I have here in McGoffin County of any storm-related damage. That's not to say there haven't been some trees fall, things of that nature. We have trees, as I was talking to Gary McClure, the Emergency Management Director in Johnson County earlier today. We have trees fall, it feels as though, on sunny days here in McGoffin County, taking down power lines or blocking roads, but none today to speak of here in McGoffin County. I spoke with Judge Executive Matt Wireman. He actually had crews out today collecting garbage for the spring cleanup campaign in the northern part of McGoffin County. That's where they were starting this week, and that's which got part of the county that was to get hit the hardest earlier today by the first round, and they had nothing to report. Gary McClure over in Johnson County said they had one report of a tree falling on 172 come into Johnson County 911, and it just a few hours ago when I spoke to McClure last, that was the one and only call they had had at that time. No severe weather since. However, it is gearing back up, and we are excuse me, we are going to see possibly another more significant round, which is exactly the same scenario that everyone has been laying out for the past number of days. Doesn't mean that we don't have some damages to talk about. You just have to go a little bit farther than the viewing area to do so, and in doing so, a total of 3, I expect that number to increase, 3 confirmed areas that saw tornadic activity, all believed to be of an EF1 in various counties of the state of Kentucky, as the governor today declared a state of emergency, closing all office buildings, UK as well, closing campus at around 12:30, a number of other schools, businesses locally here in central Kentucky as well, all following similar suit. Still had that cough. What's it been, 3 months? My apologies. And after that state of emergency was called by the governor, we do have confirmations of tornadoes in Nelson, in Anderson, and in Boyd County, with some supporting photographs of the damage left behind by the Boyd County coming up in just a few seconds. Last power outage number I had from the state was just over 31,000 Kentuckians without power. Crews are already working to fix those power outages, and it is in anticipation of potentially more this evening. Just to take a look at some of the places hardest hit among many. There will be many more confirmed tornadoes, I do believe, in the next 24 and 48 hours, all of a similar intensity, and that is not taking into consideration any that we may see from this point further for the rest of the evening. In Ironville, in Boyd County, these are actually from an area where it is confirmed that one of the at least 3 tornadoes that have already been confirmed by the National Weather Service did touch down in the Ironville area, knocking over multiple mobile homes and causing damage to a great deal of other structures. This was some video taken by residents and neighbors in Paris, Kentucky earlier today, which shows multiple pieces of debris, portions of homes, barns, buildings strewn all about this neighborhood, which indeed has been far too common of a sight across many, many Kentucky counties today. But keep in mind, and as the governor did refer to, we have 0 reports of any serious injuries resulted with any of these storms. That very well could change, but as of right now, we have no reports of any serious injuries from all of the damage that has occurred from this string of storms and what is already confirmed to be numerous tornadoes which have touched down or hit structures in many parts of Kentucky. Going on, this video has been widely viewed today on social media, and rightly so. A student being blown to the ground trying to go to or from class just earlier today. This from the same storm system as seen from near the University of Kentucky campus. UK calling off classes by mid-afternoon and asking everyone to stay safe, hunker down, and stay put. Big Sandy News are out in Louisa as well as gathering details about several reported damages, a auto accident that is believed to be wind related possibly, or at least being questioned as such, and a number of residents who were trapped inside this home after a large tree fell, taking down power lines which had to be disconnected before the residents could safely leave the home. More weather and more news in just a moment. Limited information on 2 reports of structure fires in Magoffin County in the past 24 hours. I was actually en route to gather some details about one that took place last night that I will have a follow-up on. I'd actually just this afternoon turned into Birch Branch off of Burning Fork, where I'm told by a family member of the resident around midnight last night, neighbors or passersby, I'm unsure which, saw flames coming from the end of a mobile home that sits there in this portion of Magoffin County. The Sayersville Fire Department responded. They did put out the fire after there was significant damage done to the home, which still stands, but I'm not sure is habitable at this time. Just as I was pulling in there to gather some details, another fire department was toned to another structure fire in another part of the county. And just as I was approaching the Birch Branch fire to try to gather some details, the Bloomington Fire Department was toned out around 3 o'clock today to a structure fire on Coffee Branch on Grape Creek, off of Grape Creek. And it was there that a woman had called 911 stating her house was on fire. Immediately pulling up behind one of the volunteers, I realized that I was about to be in the way of responding fire departments. Bloomington, who had also requested mutual aid by the Middle Fork Fire Department, and I left the small branch and got out of their way and returned back to the building. When I reached out to firemen just a few moments ago, they were still on that scene, so I have no other information. I can only confirm that the resident was out and standing on the porch and out front upon arrival of the fire department, but the house was still significantly smoldering or smoking, but was still intact at that time. I'll have an update on both situations tomorrow. Here's tonight's community calendar, and you know how I like them to start out when we can. Yes, I indeed love to start the calendar off with birthdays. Tonight we will do as such, wishing our Sheriff Bill Meade, Sheriff Bill, happy birthday from his family, Leanne, Holly, Kate, and Will, Sherry, and Marvin. The happiest of birthdays to Magoffin County Sheriff Bill Meade. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you. Just got this in a reminder. A lot happening here the first couple of days of April, but tomorrow is the first of their 2 regular commodity days for the month of April at the Water into Wine Food Pantry. Tomorrow morning, 9 to 11, please have your food pantry card ready. They hope to see you there tomorrow, 9 to 11, at the Water into Wine Food Pantry. The Royalton Community Council hopes to see you for Trader Days this coming Saturday, this weekend, Saturday 9 to 5 at Half Mountain Park. They are building on an already successful event with a great number of vendors and more expected this year for their Spring Fling Trader Days this Saturday at Half Mountain Park. All this week, the Magoffin County-wide spring cleanup campaign is ongoing for those of you who live in Magisterial District 1 through Friday. Remember, this does include tires, not on the rim and not commercial businesses or semi-truck tires, but passenger car tires are included. You can leave them out and they will be picked up. Next week, it is for those who live in District 2, and the third week of April for District 3. No hazardous waste and construction debris, and nothing containing any liquids like paints and other things of that nature. But it's the same format as they have every year. As is my community calendar, which is the same format pretty each and every weeknight, and that also includes the fact that it's free. So send those announcements to me. From there, a funeral service announcements brought to you nightly by the Magoffin County Funeral Home begin with a reminder of services to start in the morning at 11 for 63-year-old Connie Montgomery, shepherd of Middle Fork. She passed away Sunday at her home, survived by her son Tyler, brothers Ronnie and Forrest, and Dwayne and Paul Montgomery, sister-in-law Alvia Patrick Montgomery, and 3 grandkids, David Chandler Likens, Maylee Grace Likens, and Robbie Ortiz. In addition to her parents, Connie is preceded in death by her husband Rob Shepard, and stepdaughter Terry Ortiz, and one brother, Morris Montgomery. Services again in the morning from the Magoffin County Funeral Home. Services start tomorrow afternoon at 2 for 90-year-old Wayne Irvin Allen of Sayersville. He passed away Friday, survived by his sister Sue Dell Minix and a host of nieces, nephews, family, and friends. In addition to his parents, Wayne is preceded in death by 3 brothers, Claude Dempsey, Grover Cleveland, and Buddy Jack Allen, and 5 sisters, Geneva Howes, Juanita Wharton, Marietta Taylor, Avenel Howes, and Shirley Thompson. Services tomorrow at 2 from the McGoffin County Funeral Home. Lastly, tonight, arrangements incomplete at this hour for 83-year-old Joe Dean Salyer of Sayersville, who passed away on today's date. You've seen the forecast, right? You know what season it is, so it is time to get ready. With New Year deals that are worth up to $200 off a new set of tires, and get your car running like new with only a $35 state-of-the-art computer diagnosis, and save all the payments for later with 6 months same as cash at Conley Tire and ConleyTire.net. There where every day starts, it's made and it ends. From hitting the floor to hitting the road and back, your feet carry the day's duties. And if you're hurting from what might be a work or sports or stress-related fracture you don't even know about, diabetic, or that all too often heel pain that just won't go away, or any type of pain or discomfort or in need of wound care, come to where they care.
Put your best foot forward and come visit our podiatry team. We care about our patients and their feet.
That's Dr. Cheney and her team at Hope Family Podiatry Center next to Hope Family Pediatrics on the Mountain Parkway.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in small town values.
And mom and dad and the things they handed down.
I believe some of the best people in the world are farmers.
I believe in insurance that protects families, homes, and cars.
I believe in always finding a way to do what you love.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
Sayersville National Bank hopes to help you start the new year with financial freedom and peace of mind. From new services like Apple and Google Pay with your debit card to their more than century of being dedicated to being your personal or business banking institution, they're here for you with digital, phone, or in-person banking at both locations. Someone dies in the U.S. every 7 minutes from an overdose, and over half of the population gets or takes pills from a friend or a relative. And about 46 million and counting are exposed to narcotics in their drinking water. So don't toss them, flush them, or leave them lying around. Safely dispose of your unneeded meds anytime at Parkway Pharmacy,
where you can always talk to a pharmacist when you need one. There are several risk factors that may put a patient at risk for heart disease.
Especially people who have diabetes or hypertension or high cholesterol and have a family history of heart disease.
Neglecting to see a cardiologist can put you in trouble. You may develop problems that may not be reversible.
We see many people who do not have an actual diagnosis of a heart problem, but may be at risk of heart disease, and we do whatever we can to help mitigate that risk to help prevent disease in the future. ARH, more for Appalachia.
Regardless of what season it is, you can always find fan favorites of the Ville, Salyersville, at the seasonal shop. For the dudes, Duke and Cannon, Turn Rose, and more. And always something for all the Hornet fans. And for all the ladies, it's always Wildcat season, and it all changes daily. That's why you always have to make a stop at the seasonal shop just next door to Fraser's Prater Drug Store. The best place for all your prescription, over-the-counter, and Radio Shack needs, with some of the very best hometown lunch specials and treats. They're a pair like you can find nowhere else but in Sayersville. Cooked cabbage is back at your Sayersville Lee's, and so is the low-carb plate. I mean, yes, you can call it a low-carb plate because it is. There's barely any carbs in it, but it's also one of the tastiest meals we've got. And the healthiest, low-carb or not. With juicy roast strips, our famous green beans, and yes, that tasty cooked cabbage. A taste and flavor all its own, and only at your Sayersville Lee's. We're going to wrap it up with current conditions here in downtown Sagersville, which have been pretty calm for the most part. I do so in prefacing this, and I'll say following that, please. Now is not the time to consider it over, because it indeed is not, and it's over the course of the next couple of hours that you and I and everyone will need to keep a close eye on the weather conditions. Over my shoulder and on the radar, you can see still very much calm in the downtown Sagersville area and for much of the viewing area. We are so fortunate not to have seen much or any hardly sunshine in between this long lag between that first round and what will be the most significant that is still yet to come. We've seen some showers and thunderstorms roll through since that initial hit this morning, and fortunately, very little, if any, sunshine to add to that. That has meant a lot. As we take a look, we're seeing a bit of a break, and we're going to see some clear skies continue here, or at least calm skies continue here in the Sagersville area for the next little bit, as this loop right here takes us over, of course, the past about hour and to current conditions. But you can see that line, which is just coming into Louisville, almost kind of joining that line in front of it, which has just rolled through E-Town, starting to become one in parts, and it's along that line and that boundary that tornado warnings in Jefferson County have been called out since 5:30, and numerous others in parts of central and some parts of western Kentucky. And it's as that line storms on or marches on that we could see similar conditions happen very quickly here over the next couple of hours. Now, with all of that said and taken into consideration, here's the nuts and bolts, if you will, of current conditions and the outlook for not just tonight, but the 7-day period. As far as what we have in downtown Sagersville, we are at 67 degrees right now and falling down from where we were at 73 at our peak today. Feels closer to 61, 62 right now when you factor in about a 3-mile-an-hour wind just out of the north, and, of course, the wet and dreary conditions out there. I've seen a 20-mile-per-hour gust today at the peak. We saw that yesterday, and that's not been uncommon here as of late, so really not indicative of the potential out there for the rest of the evening. Humidity at 81%. Rainfall, we did pick up more than 0.3 of an inch of rain and some light to moderate rain at times in downtown Sagersville. Sunrise 7:16 and sunset 7:57. Keep in mind the flood watch is in effect till 2 a.m. tonight. The tornado watch in effect until 10 o'clock at last update, as we take a look ahead at the rest of your 7-day. Tonight, 46 degrees. Southwesterly winds could be anywhere from 9 to 33 miles per hour, and that is not talking about any storms that could develop. That's just as this front or this line rolls through. We could see some much more significant winds, and while we're hoping we're not, that is something that we all need to have in the forefront of our minds. 100% chance of some showers and storms possibly as well tonight, and that will turn into your Wednesday, where we'll see dramatic temperatures changes. We're going to bottom out at 46 tonight. Now, in the early morning hours, we'll start to go in the other direction, and we'll make it a few degrees before we start to fall back to 46 by about 10 in the morning. Winds, again, primarily westerly, southwesterly tomorrow up to 20, low 20 mile per hour range without any thunderstorms factored in. Tomorrow night, for your Wednesday night, we have showers, thunderstorms possible up until 8 or 9 or so. Winds still west-southwesterly up to 20 miles per hour or a little better. No major rainfall unless we see some more thunderstorms develop. We're not going to see a dull day tomorrow, I don't think. Major temperature dip and more shower and storm chances, but tonight is the severe one we have to worry about. Thursday, holding pat at 46, winds holding pat, shower and storm chances holding pat. Only thing different is we might see some snow. We might see some significant snow on the rooftops and the like. It's very possible right now. There's just that much energy, that much cold air, and that much moisture that should all be around. As you saw, Friday looks to be 47, still in the 40s, mostly cloudy, and only about a 30% chance of rain. Widespread frost in that morning. Saturday, widespread frost again, as we'll be very chilly in the morning, about 26 degrees to start, 54 and 28 for your high and your low Saturday night, under, again, mostly clear skies, means another solid frosty start to your Sunday in the upper 20s. Widespread frost again, 62 ultimately and 41 as we perk up a little bit temperature-wise. And then we follow that pattern, fortunately, as we hit Monday, 69, 49. Partly cloudy, a 30% chance of rain. Tuesday, low 70s finally, partly sunny, and about a 10% chance of some lingering showers. And I'm hopeful that will be the start of a more pleasant trend. Again, stay safe and stay alert to our weather conditions tonight, and make sure you have a plan of going somewhere or getting your loved ones somewhere in the event of a tornado warning being issued for us here. With that said, good night, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.